What's up guys, I am in Canton, Georgia. Welcome to today's video. I'm getting ready for the 6 hours of Blankets Creek race. This will be my third year doing this race. It's the opposite direction of last year, which somehow the course changed a little bit and now it's about a mile longer. So my goal is probably to try to, I'm pretty sure I can do 7 laps, but I'm really going to try to push for 8 laps. So I'm going to show you what my nutrition is going to look like to try to get me there. First off, I'm going to carry 7 goos with me and try to do a goo every lap. I've got 2 different sets of chews. I got the Cliff Blocks and the Pro Bar Bolt chews. Those are pretty good. And then I'm going to have a bottle in my bike of the Skratch Labs hydration mix. And then some of the stuff over here is more like the random stuff that I'm going to eat in between laps. In the past at this race, I have taken a lot longer in between laps, like just stopping and eating, and I'm gonna try to cut down the sag times this time and just try to have more consistent laps and more consistent stops. That's really my goal. In order to do 8 laps, I think I have to do like 44-minute laps, which is, it's kind of not really pushing the pace, but keeping a really consistent pace. So anyways, that's pretty much the goal for today. We'll see how this goes though. It's like a buffet table.
Yeah.
You excited to race your 2020 Top Fuel?
Absolutely. It's going to go to top podium spot today for sure. So
Heck yeah.
I'm excited.
All right, guys, let's jump into the race footage. Here is the start. There are about 300 people in this race. It is pretty crazy if you think about it, how many riders there are. So the way that the race starts is we start facing away from the trail and we actually go out on this road. We ride down the road just a little ways. We make this turn right here, and this turn up here was like, you can see people are trying to cut it a little bit, like they're trying to come over that little hump there, and it was chaos. Like, this felt really close to a very crazy crit that you would possibly see. It's just insane. Anyways, we make this turn, we head back down the road, we do another turn, and we head into the trail. Now, even with trying to separate us out by making us do this little loop out on the road, it's still very congested once we hit the trail. And the first lap, you're really not able to ride your pace. You're pretty much stuck at whatever pace you were just in with the line, because it's literally just a line of people, and you can pass some people, but for the most part, you're just riding in the group that you're in because you can't pass like 50 people at once. Here we go. We're in the trail, sort of. This is a pretty flat section. There's like a flat section that connects the 2 sides of the trail. This first side that we're doing is called Van Michael, and then the second side is the Dwelling Loop. And so here we go. Something that I want to point out right off the bat is that if you look around at a lot of the other riders, you'll see a lot of people riding flat pedals. I don't know what the situation is, but I noticed that a lot at this race. I've noticed it the past couple years, a lot of flat pedaled riders. I don't know if they're newer riders, they're newer to racing, or what the story is. I'm starting to think that this specific race draws in a lot of non-XC or non-cross-country racers. There's just such a different variety of the way people are kitted up. I got passed by a guy who had a full face mask on. Now, this first loop, like I said, you're stuck with the group, and anytime you come up to a somewhat technical section, usually you're going to get off your bike and push, and there was a route up here that had a lot of people off, but the group that I was in was actually able to kind of ride it just a little bit, but I got stuck behind someone who really got tripped up by that route. That kind of happens. Honestly, I wasn't worried because I knew I wasn't going to lose too much time in this section. I'm not gonna lie, I've really struggled with the amount of people that are on the course at one time, and it seems like it's got worse since they added the 3-hour event. They added that last year, so you can race for either 3 hours or 6 hours, and what I noticed is that it was pretty congested, and there were just riders everywhere for close to 3 hours in, and then once that 3 hours was up, I could ride a whole lap and hardly hardly see another person. So I kind of feel like maybe that 3-hour event has just drawn a lot more people in. A lot of people probably think, yeah, you know, that's probably maybe pushing their limits if they're not a racer. And so it's something that they want to come out and try. Maybe that explains a lot of it. I don't know. Like I said, there was a lot of flat pedals, and I'm going to call them fanny packs, but they're not really fanny packs, but that's kind of what it seemed like. People were breaking chains left and right. And then, like, there's one pretty steep climb here on Van Michael, and it was pretty common for everybody to have to get off and push their bikes for that one. They couldn't actually do that climb, which is okay. Like, I made it up on the second lap, I think, but it was a pretty hard effort, to be honest, because it was part of a turn, and so you really had to balance, and I had to be in my 50-tooth gear. So, I mean, yeah, I could see why it would kind of make more sense. Sometimes you have to think about that, especially when you're doing multiple laps. If you've got a hard effort like that, is it harder to actually climb it on the bike than it is to jump off real quick and push it? I've had rides like that before where I've put in like one really hard effort to get up a really steep hill, and then I felt it the rest of the ride. So sometimes you have to decide, you know, if that is worth it or not. But like I said, a lot of people they weren't climbers. So this is kind of why we're congested again here. And like I said, this is the first lap. The second lap wasn't nearly as bad, but on the second lap, you did still get caught behind people and have to pass them. I mean, you do a lot of passing on this course after the first lap. And it's just, if you're not comfortable passing, then it's difficult. And I've mentioned that in videos before, that passing people is really something that I need to work on. This is that steep climb. You can see everybody jumping off. I was gonna, you know, just get as close to the top as I can, jump off real quick and run over the roots and just keep going. That was my plan. Like I said, knowing how congested it was, I wasn't trying to ride this stuff the first lap. I just wanted to get the first lap done with and over with. Sean caught up to me at the end of the first lap, and then he dropped me in a technical section. I got caught up behind someone, and then we kind of went through the sag together at the same time. And the second lap, I was thinking, hey, I'll just ride this with Sean, but it was really interesting because I actually didn't stay with Sean the entire time. I was starting to struggle to keep up with him. Sean ended up pretty much dropping me, and he carried on and actually had a really good race. This is the little flow section here on the Dwelling Loop that is pretty fun to ride downhill, and I started to get more comfortable with it as the day went on. This footage is probably from my third or fourth lap, and honestly, like, I was in complete shutdown mode at this point. Not even 3 hours into the race, I felt like I had been racing all day long, and I felt weak, and it just ended up being a terrible, terrible race for me. And it's just one of those things where I didn't recover very well from the stomach bug, and I'm going to talk more about that later in this video. But yeah, it just overall, this was a really bad race for me. I don't know if it was my worst race of the year. Honestly, Mountain Bike Marathon Nationals, I felt pretty bad. I blew up really bad. The way that I felt at this race wasn't the same. It was not because I blew up. It was just because I was weak from the stomach bug that I caught the week before. So kind of a different experience because of that. But that's really all I want to talk about in the commentary right now. I just wanted to kind of show you guys a little bit of the course and how the race goes. As you can see, it's far less congested now that the 3 hours is pretty close to the end at this point. So you can ride your own pace a lot better. You don't have to worry about passing as many people as often. So that's kind of nice. But I'm going to end the commentary here, and I'm going to talk to you more about the race in the rest of the video. Misty, what happened?
You pushed me off the trail?
Who pushed you off the trail?
You pushed me off the trail?
That's a lie. Look at that face. It's gnarly. Let's see the elbow.
It's badass, man.
Right there.
So I'm not going to have my career as a downhiller is already over.
I just finished lap 4, and my entire life has fallen apart. Just 2 weeks today. I think it's from throwing up my guts a week ago, but it is what it is. I think I'm gonna call it quits. with 4 laps because it just doesn't feel worth it right now to just keep, it's just brutal. Like, feel sick, and I'd rather try to recover for BT Epic next week. Misty might go out for another lap.
Don't do family pictures soon. I'm just saying.
It is the following Monday after the race. I came home after the race on Saturday and kind of just assessed how I felt on Sunday. So I want to end this video talking about how I'm dealing with the whole aftermath of the race. I feel like I'm on damage control right now. So just to recap really quick, in case you didn't watch my last video, I came down with a stomach bug the weekend before the race. Essentially, I didn't eat anything for 24 hours, so my body obviously took a really big hit. I got dehydrated, obviously depleted, but when I started eating again, I tried to eat everything that I could. I was trying to focus on refueling and recovering and getting my body back to normal. I took 2 days off from training and then I eased back into training. And before the race, a couple days before the race, I felt good. My body was really an unknown of how it was going to perform after having that sickness. So I was just kind of going in and seeing what I could do and just hoping for the best. Really, on the second lap of the race, I really started to notice that things felt very hard. My RPE was through the roof for the power that I was putting down. And on the 4th lap, I was basically having a complete meltdown. My entire body hurt. And what I mean is that my shoulders and my neck and my back had fatigued. Like I felt like I had been riding for way longer than I actually had been. My entire body hurt. It wasn't just a matter of putting out too hard of an effort in the beginning or a matter of bonking. Something was completely wrong, completely different, and it was very odd. And the best way to describe it was just that I felt weak. I had no energy. I thought to myself, the sooner that I quit, the sooner I can start recovering, because I have another race coming up this weekend, the BT Epic, and I really wanted to try to have a good result for that race. The next day after the race, I felt like I had raced for 6 hours, not for 3 hours, because I ended up quitting at 3 hours. And I told my coach that, and he actually updated my training plan for this week to add in a little bit more of recovery. And I don't want to sound dramatic, but I think the stomach bug pretty much ended my mountain bike season for the year. I do want to send a shout out to everybody who said hi to me at the race. It's still really cool meeting people who watch the videos. I had people come up to me in the race telling me they watched the videos. I don't really know 100% how to react to that yet, so if I seem weird about it, I'm still trying to figure out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you smash that thumbs up if you did. It lets me know you like these videos. It helps the channel, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.